Welcome to Highly Questionable. This is Mina Kimes taking pictures of herself before we start the show. What do you like on the show today, Mina?
My perpetual and ongoing shame.
Dale, papi.
Y sí, Sabathia being a big old baby by complaining about Anger Harnandez.
A big old baby, not a big ole baby. He loves this guy more than any other because CC, he's very intrigued about CC's stories. So he was mad after the game yesterday. They lost. The Yankees are eliminated. Listen to him.
I do need to say this, though. I don't think Anger Harnandez should be umping playoff games. He's absolutely terrible. He's terrible behind the plate today. He's terrible at first base. It's amazing that how he's getting a job to pitch to play in these, to umpire in these playoff games.
What did you say to him in the first inning?
It's just a conversation for us, but he shouldn't be anywhere near a playoff game.
Is that sentiment shared by many of your teammates?
Everybody, I think.
Everybody.
I think if you go ask them on the other side too.
CC, was his strike zone tonight?
It's always.
Yeah.
It's always. He's bad. I don't understand why he's doing these games.
Salty. Well, so he's wrong. The pitcher on the other side, Rick Porcello, the guy who won the game, actually said the ump was fine, and the guy who lost said he was not good. It's shocking how that works out. Broadly, CC is correct. Anger Harnandez is not a very good umpire, but last night he was actually fine. In fact, if you look at the pitching charts, his strike zone actually benefited the Yankees. However, his reputation precedes him, and CC knows that. And since he had a bad game, he kind of was like, hey, look over there at that guy.
I understand the tactic, and I understand CC Sabathia's reaction. Imagine being him in this situation. You used to be, about 10 years ago, exactly the guy everyone wanted pitching in this kind of game. You were a power arm. Now you're a bit of a nibbler. Now Porcello is out here saying, hey, if you want strike calls, throw it over the right part of the plate, throw it over the white part of the plate, which is not something that CC Sabathia does anymore. Imagine being him. You're in that situation, and that team can't trust you but for a couple of innings in a big spot. That's a lot different from when you were pitching on 2 days rest in a Game 7.
Well, CC is complaining about the wrong guy. He has to look around his locker room, buddy. You got the whiffer in there. He didn't do Then you got Aaron Josh. He didn't do nothing, you know. The rest of the team, they didn't do anything. Don't blame Angel, you know. I mean, that was a cheap shot, you know what I mean? And you only stayed for 3 innings, my God. And you allowed 3 runs in about 3 innings, you know what I mean? I tell you, come on, man. Go and take your shower, you know. Enjoy the short season. Go fishing.
Wow, just buried him with cliches at the end. Fishing in a short season. Probably was supposed to be an off season.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Short season. How much blame does Dak Prescott deserve for the Cowboys' struggles?
Troy Aikman is pointing out that Dak has not been very accurate at a time when quarterbacks are more precise than they've ever been, and Drew Brees is out here completing 78% of his passes. When the question is, though, how much blame does he deserve? I would say all of it for this reason. It's not just the play now, Mina. It's that they made a decision that I believe was the wrong decision behind the offensive line that could have won the Super Bowl. Back when Tony Romo and Dak Prescott looked the way that they looked, they were doing so playing a different game. There was no pressure on either one of them, and Romo was better. And because Prescott started winning, the Dallas Cowboys thought they were better than they were. They thought that they could win it with a caretaker quarterback, and they can't.
I don't know if they would have won the Super Bowl with that team, but you're probably right that they should have stuck with Romo. But this is actually really tricky, right? Because football is a team sport, and the quarterback position in particular is hard to decontextualize. And for the same reasons that when Dak was a rookie and we said, well, everyone around him's really good and they deserve some of the credit, now the people around him are not as good and they deserve some of the blame as well. The offensive line has taken a step back. He has probably the worst wide receiver core in the NFL, and the play calling has been, to put it generously, uncreative. Now, Dak does deserve some of the blame, but all that means is like 75% of the quarterbacks in the NFL, he depends on the context around him. He can't lift up the other players, but that's kind of par for course in this league.
It's not only par for course, it's where he was drafted. Everyone in the league thought this about him. You cannot have other parts of your team be substandard and then have the quarterback also be this inaccurate. That's how you become the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Do you hear that? Did you hear that?
What's that, Poppy? What is it?
You hearing?
That's laughter. Oh, somebody's laughing. Oh, I can hear it. That's coming from Antonio Romo.
Oh,
That's
yes,
right,
laughing, yeah.
Antonio Romo.
Right.
He's laughing. Oh, he's laughing all the way.
You know what's funny? I thought that was Jimmy Johnson's laughter I heard. It's not. It's Tony Romo.
Does Deshaun Watson need to change the way he plays to protect himself?
Okay, this is interesting because Deshaun Watson plays a style that doesn't often translate from college football to the pros, but maybe in a new physical league, it'll be different than it has been for some other quarterbacks. But this is what I would just say generally. When you have the value of Deshaun Watson, there is no tackle he should be making, no contact he should be looking for, no first down that he should be looking for, no touchdown that he should be looking for during a regular season or a postseason game, or even most of the Super Bowl. If at the very end of the Super Bowl to win the championship, he has to look for a collision, then I'm okay with it. But given his value, I don't want him taking contact ever, not even with the new rules.
And yet you do want him to run sometimes, right? Because when you have a mobile quarterback, you want to take advantage of that. You want to get that numbers edge on the offense and exploit their skills. However, watching that Sunday night game between the Cowboys and the Texans when Deshaun took off for maybe the 10th time, I was terrified. Not just because he was running, but because of how he was running, because he clearly doesn't know how to protect himself. So Bill O'Brien needs to get him to watch some 2012 tape of Russell Wilson sliding before he works those design runs into the game plan again. Otherwise, he's got to stay in the pocket.
Oh, the Texans, they got a lot of depth at quarterback, Mo. They got somebody there in the bench, you know, if Deshaun Watson gets hurt, they got Brandon Withern, you know, he's the one that is going to make it happen.
You know what? He said he got it right the first time when he said they got a lot of depth on their bench. He got it right when he said that.
I didn't even know Whedon was on the team.
Neither did I.
Do Klay Thompson's comment about LeBron make you think he could join it? What?
No, she was circling the comments. He was going to finish his point, which is, does it make you think that he's going to join the Lakers? And those comments, circled by her at the beginning of this television show without her knowing that she's on television, were strong comments that would indicate that Michael Thompson, his dad, a famous Laker, that this is something that makes sense to him because he thinks LA is so cool, especially with LeBron. I don't think he's going anywhere. He and his father have said for a long time that they're not going anywhere. But if there was a place he would go, it would be to the Lakers to play with LeBron James, because that's perfect for him as a spot-up shooter. Better than even going to Minnesota like we were talking about a couple years ago to become the #1 and replace Kevin Love. This would be a better situation for him. Just spot up over there, far away from the guy who gets the ball to you better than anyone who's ever played the game.
I was circling the quotes because I wanted to read them. I think it's pretty cool. Wow, that's spicy stuff. Let me add, LeBron and the Lakers is adding a ton of interest in the league. Oh yeah, he's definitely going to Los Angeles. You're right, it's right in there. Look, the reason we're talking about this, right, is because of what Dan said, which is that Klay Thompson is a free agent in 2019, which is exciting because it's long been thought that he would be the first domino to fall in terms of dismantling the current iteration of the Warriors. And unless Kevin Durant leaves, which is plausible, they probably can't play Klay Thompson what he's worth. And of course, Los Angeles would be a phenomenal fit, not just because of the family history, but because he is a terrific fit with LeBron James. He can play defense and he can shoot. And as I'm saying all this, he's probably going to sign with the Warriors for a discount and ruin basketball again.
Can I
Unless you guys have an idea.
get those quotes too?
Poppy, really? I think you got her.
Got it.
Kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure.
No.
I don't know.
No, that's really low. The saddest. That's the saddest one you guys have done, and that's saying a lot. Really? No. Literally, I just slid it across the table.
Is Austin River right that the Wizards are being heavily slept on?
Mina, we are doing television here. Mina doesn't understand the doing of television doesn't involve being in the phone. Anyway, Austin Rivers, and I understand why she would bore by this particular topic, it's the Wizards, but in their conference even, they do not have two players better than the ones Boston has and the ones Philadelphia has. So while they might be better than you expected, this might be the year where Bradley Beal and John Wall do something. You've still got younger pieces in their conference who are better than the two guys they have, and Austin Rivers ain't fixing that.
Great commentary. Before I...
Wow, that was a great cannon there. That was shot about 20 minutes ago, and it still came down from the heavens. Anyway.
Before I say my piece, I'd like to direct your attention to some unaired footage from yesterday when we were talking about the Clippers.
And the Clippers, I don't know who is with the Clippers now anymore.
Well,
Who is with the Clippers? You know who is with the Clippers?
Austin Rivers, DeAndre Jordan.
no, Austin Rivers was traded. Yeah. and
Oh,
DeAndre
really?
Rivers-
Okay, there we go.
And DeAndre Jordan is
Listen, fair. Totally fair.
No, I felt a little unfair, but that's okay. Keep it moving.
For me, what I find interesting about these quotes, I guess, is I always wondered if we were being unfair to Austin Rivers, if he was being roasted because of, playing for his dad, and maybe leaving Los Angeles would make him less roastable. Then he comes out and says something like this. He says people are sleeping on the Wizards because they added me and Dwight Howard and Jeff Green, and I realized, no, he is just that roastable.
Well, I've been sleeping on the Wizards all my life, and I haven't missed anything.
That's right. That's so true.
Yeah,
He has.
yeah,
He's been
yeah.
sleeping and sleeping, and every time he sleeps on him, he's right about sleeping on him.
Literally sleeping when they're on television.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
He'll always shake your hand, Phil. He'll come in there right there as people admit.
Who finds all these videos in Russia that we show on this program?
We have people scouring the internet at all points for dog videos, and
whoa,
yeah, here we go. Yeah, this guy's probably got a bit of a blind spot.
My Son's TV show is brought to you by Domino's. Order online and track your order.
Just look.